Hello, I'm Jody Wolf. You're watching Expoz, October 14, 2016, at 9:11 p.m. And the topic is I'm going to do a quick follow up on the last blog, the one I just posted. And I'm really irritated, major, major time, by the way that a large portion of the establishment, or I say establishment, the Republicans, kind of flip flopped. Well, where have you heard that word before? It's always come from the Democrats. Always. But yet we see it happen with our own party. That tells me several things, and it should you too. One, what have they got to hide? Plenty. Two, are they the only ones with the establishment or a plan for each of them that they don't talk about, but they all know that, well, hey, it's like a secret society. You don't tell them what you recited behind closed doors. That's all it is. And they either abide by it or they don't. If they don't and they talk about it, they get blackballed. That's exactly what happens. So this is why those who even know that won't talk about it, because they don't want, they like their jobs. But the end result is the majority of them, they will fall into the category of those who do write laws to protect themselves, but you have to obey, and the means of making lots of money on the side that you and I don't need to know about. They do it. And I'm telling you, this government, this body, since, I'm going to say really since after Nixon, I'm going to say since Carter a little bit, but more when the Bushes came, it's unbelievable. There is a black project out there that requires $1 trillion a year just for it. And nobody knows what it is. The CIA don't know, the FBI don't know, even the president doesn't know. And they're forbidden to ask questions. That is part of them going behind closed doors and going through this ritual about shut your mouth. Period. We don't want to hear it. If you do, you're blackballed. And worse than that, they could even be killed. This black project has been underway for some time at a cost of $1 trillion a year, but yet nobody knows what it is. A lot of people know, and a lot of people who have talked about it even a little bit are dead. But a few of those that are talking about it, they can't. Well, you heard about the one that is, they drilled down into Dulce, New Mexico, into a shaft and opened up into a floor, and there's a firefight between aliens and these guys. Well, the guy that was wanted came out to tell a story, but yet they killed him later. And several people has been dead just trying to tell you what's going on underground around this country and around this world. And what's going around under the Arctic or Antarctic, it blow your mind. And under the Arctic, they're even, look, at the Arctic, there's a place that has better weather than we have right here in Alabama year round. Yes, they do, believe it. But anyway, there's a lot of things they know that they don't want us to know, and very few of them are allowed to know. And it's handpicked, and But in order for them to shut up, they're given the right by someone to do what they have been doing, and just has in the last few years has been known as the establishment. And that was created so that this party, the Republican Party, can siphon off money that's meant to go to different areas and places, and it's siphoned off for them. But yet, you try to get them on it, and you'll find that there's a law there that'll protect them from prosecution. But if you do it, you're not protected by that same law. And the Democrats started it even before the Republicans. They've been doing it for a long time, a long time. In our country, we have not had a moral leader, truly moral leader, since George Washington. And if you read the history and the story about where he prayed that night, how long he prayed that night, and then what happened on that spot in 911, and then you try to put that story together, you will have an amazing image in your head about what it takes and what is required of by God for our country to get back on its feet. The last several presidents has failed to do that, and they're not going to do it. And Clinton will put the nail in the coffin. It will be forbidden. God is not ready for anyone to forbid you and I from doing a few more things. There are things that God needs to be done or needs to happen. And it is the Christian, the work of the Christians that's going to do it. And you see that we have been isolated more and more year by year. And the year will come when, even though we can pray, we will seem like there's not much coming out of it. Believe it or not, there is. Power of prayer is still stronger than anything out there, and it always will be. But God will move his own to safety before he judges those who come against his own. Now, just today, a thing happened. The UN just told Israel, and this is another reason that we will be needed. And whether it's the specific reason, the very reason, we don't know. But just today, the UN told Israel that the Muslims have 100% control of the Temple Mount, the whole site, 100%. In other words, the Jews have no rights on that mount. They cannot go there at will anymore on the Wailing Wall. They cannot go anywhere that the Muslims forbid them to. I got news for them. I believe God is going to strike that one down. And Benjamin Netanyahu, if needed, under military action, he will make sure that that does not happen. But this could be the very reason that America is needed for another term, and we have only one man with the guts that can stand up and do it, and is not on the take by everybody out there, doesn't have their money in his pocket, and that is Donald Trump. So I would think about that and just see what it is in your mind, and you can read enough things and look in on what the UN said about the Muslim world, the Palestinians having 100% full authority of the Temple Mount. That blew me away. and that is brand new. That just came out, and it didn't hit my screen until about 25 minutes ago. When I read it, I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. But Benjamin Netanyahu had a little clip on it on TV, and he won't stand for it either. Again, if it takes going to war over that, then that's what he'll do. Because if you remember, when they regained Jerusalem, they let, just by choice, not by pressure, by choice, they let Jordan retain control, but to divide it equally in use. And Jordan never did do that. They never did. And now Jordan has yielded to the UN, and the UN has come in and said that the Palestinians will retain 100% control of it. That ain't going to happen, guys. That ain't going to happen. And it will take an ally like Donald Trump to assure that that does not go into effect at any time. That may be why Donald Trump is needed, but make no beans about it. He will be our president. Bank on it. Jody Wolf Expoz.